All right, hold on, let me see if I can. Let me step a little bit, not too far. Okay, so hey y'all, I have kind of avoided making this video because I like to make things in like a timely manner. Hold on. I told my fiance I got some tea on something, and he replied and was like, "Of course you did." Like, you know me. So I definitely wanted to make a video. Now I gotta sit up straight regarding what the hell's going on with me. So if you don't know, I am actually I don't like to tell people I live anywhere. I don't live anywhere because I travel so much, and I physically like rent properties, places to not have to be places, but we're just gonna call this like my next destination. So a little bit of a backstory. I am from a small town in California called Sacramento. It's the capital, but a lot of people in California don't even know the capital is the Bay. So for those of you that don't know, I'm from Sacramento. I've been in Sacramento since 1999. Prior to that, I was born in 93. I was born in San Pablo, California, which is basically the Bay Area. So like Oakland, the ghetto. I was born in the ghetto. So to get out of the ghetto, my family migrated to Sacramento in 1999, but we consistently went back and forth. I believe at that time there was like a new freeway that was built from the Bay Area to Sac, making it a lot easier to get back and forth. So I feel like I have to give you this history so that you can see why I'm moving. So I have lived in Sacramento since 99 and have watched it just like not really progress, but progress. Because it's a small town, their emphasis are on things like land and school and agriculture. Well, I am into business, entertainment, music, things of that nature, and that is not really tended to here. It's performative for sure, but it's not something that is invested in and nurtured and yada yada yada. I learned though that there are cities that do invest in all of that, and that city that I learned first was Los Angeles. So I got my first rental property outside of like my home in Sacramento last year in Los Angeles. And I would go back and forth, 1 week Los Angeles, 1 week in Sacramento, because Sacramento is very great for slow pace. LA is very great for fast pace, creativity, pretty much everything except for living. Pretty much everything except for living, cost of living, and just like how LA looks. So I had to really sit down and choose if I wanted to, which city I wanted to kind of fully be in. Because it got to a point where Sacramento's great, but I wasn't progressing in my career. I'm not progressing how I feel like I should progress, because a lot of things here are political. I want to be somewhere where my work speaks for itself. It doesn't matter who I know. It doesn't matter who knows me. It doesn't matter who doesn't like me. My work speaks for itself. So I learned that in LA that was the case. As long as I came with a good quality product, who didn't like me, who knew, it didn't matter. I made a lot of money in LA because I'm simply good at what the fuck I do. I am a creative. I'm a brand strategist. I'm a designer. I'm a videographer and photographer. I'm a dancer. I'm amazing. Okay, when I went to LA, I learned a lot of people showed a lot of love. So why don't and I had to ask myself, what am I missing? Like, why am I not getting that in my hometown? So I'll constantly come back home, figure out, take things I learned at pop-ups, things I learned in LA, let me come back home and try and do it home. But none of that really matters when it's a mindset. That's really what it is. I went to LA and learned people here have this mindset that this hustle culture. I even like that people are like, I'm not going to work with you unless you can give me something. And I'm like, well, I don't want to work with you unless you give me something. So then these beautiful partnerships are created because you have someone that's good at their craft. I'm good at my craft. You come together with a contract and now you have something beautiful. And I love that about LA, but then I would come home and get depressed because I don't have there's not that same grit here. So my fiance and I actually were toying with the idea of moving years ago. That's how I ended up getting the spot in LA. And the second place on our list was Dallas. prior to this, I had visited a friend a few years ago in Dallas. Went and felt so welcome. I stayed for like 4 or 5 days. And we still didn't get everything that I could have. We didn't even scratch the surface, okay, on things to do. If someone came into my hometown in Sacramento, we can get through everything there is to do in about a day, maybe 2. Maybe I might be able to stretch it out, but I know this place from the hood all the way to El Dorado Hills, Auburn. I know this place like the back of my hand. Ain't that much to do. It's a family place. So if you're coming for like school and to live this like structured, slow-paced life, this is it. I'm a structured, disciplined, but I'm not a slow-paced person, and I feel like that's what has made me kind of outgrow living here, because this is way too slow-paced for me. So I ended up visiting Dallas. Didn't get everything I needed to do done, which made me feel like, okay, I gotta go back. But I would talk to my homie, like, I feel like I should just move there. And everybody, I have multiple homies, friends, whatever, that live out there that have told me over and over again, you need to come, you need to come, you bring your businesses out here, like, you need to come. But fear and comfortability have kept me in California. Okay, I've been going to LA. I won't even move to LA because a lot of people don't understand how LA is still very segregated. So when I lived out there, I actually lived in a city called Boyle Heights. One of the cities was Boyle Heights. And Boyle Heights, I had to learn the history of, which black people used to live there. The Mexicans came, started killing all of them, bombed the area, and the Mexicans took over. So when I went, it was predominantly Mexican. You don't see black people. They were actually looking at me, like my Lyft drivers would look at me like, why are you in this area? So, but then I would go to work, right, in the Santa Monica's, or I would frequent in the richer areas, which weren't anything but like 30-40 minutes away. So I learned very quickly, if I'm going to be out here, and schools, a lot of people don't know that schools, when you go to a school, it's dependent on where you live. So if I live in Boyle goddamn Heights, hold on, if I live in Boyle Heights, which is a Mexican Hispanic area, and I was fine. I just learned how to speak Spanish and they were cool with me. But I can see where someone that didn't want to learn to speak Spanish, someone pretty much ignorant and who doesn't know, like I didn't know, but I learned, right? If I kept my kid there, they would be going to a school with predominantly Hispanic people, which is not bad, but the area's history, it has the history of we hate black people. So I'm not going to voluntarily be poor in an area because I want to live in LA and they hate black. Like, I'm not doing that. So my fiance and I went back to the drawing board and we were kind of like, so where do we want to go? Dallas was on the top of the list under LA. So, because nobody wanted to live in LA full time because our kids' education and our overall lifestyle would be jeopardized. Like, we don't want to live out here to pay rent, bitch. I'm trying to party still. So, I ended up telling my homies, like, I'm trying to move to Dallas. This was a year ago. So I told my home I'm trying to move to Dallas. She's been so supportive because I've been telling her this for a while. And I started actually looking up stuff, getting suggestions. She has given me the most help on schools, daycares, like you name it. She has helped me. So finally, drum roll please, I was supposed to visit her on November last year. That got canceled. December got canceled. So then her birthday came, and that was in January. My fiance and I were like, okay, here's the drawing board. When you go out there, you need to see where this area, like what does she buy and stuff, walking distance and stuff, because you know we're moving from California to Texas, so we decided no car. We actually gave up our car last month, and we've just been lifting around because we just don't see a point in literally purchasing a car in California when we're gonna move to Texas, and neither of us have any interest, like not even an ounce in driving. Like nobody wants to drive to Dallas. Nope. So we decided that we were going to figure out a place or an area that was just convenient. So not only was I supposed to look up a place that's convenient, he wanted me to see what was around, like what the average drive time from places were. So I went. It was my friend's birthday, January, like first week of January. Sold. I hadn't been to Dallas like 2 years. So I kind of forgot. Like, even some of the stuff that I saw, you might be able to find it on my Instagram. I might still have the reel. But even some of the stuff that I did when I was out there a couple years ago, like one of the clubs I went to, it doesn't even exist anymore. So that was kind of sad. And then when I went, I don't think TikTok was as big. So when I went, I was turned up all 3 days because Texas, they were turning up. And like 3 places that my friend tried so hard to bring me, but I was too turned up to go to, like now they're lit. Like I've been seeing them all over TikTok. So every time I see them, I'm like so mad that I couldn't just snap out of it and go. But I say all that to say, when you live in a small town, ain't shit to do. So I wanted to find a place that there was shit for us to do, for our kids to do. Good schools. Out here, it's like a fight to get into a good school, or cost hella money. And then once you get them into the school, they're like black people. My kid is very much black. So my fiance and I actually have had that conversation where we both grew up in predominantly white school. I'm from the ghetto, but I feel like this is a conversation in itself where black moms or black parents think, okay, my kid is from the ghetto, or we're exposed to ghetto, so the best way to get the ghetto out is to drop him in a white school. Like, worst thing you can do. And that's what happened to me. My fiance, on the other hand, I have my opinions on why he was in school, and he was raised in private school and around predominantly white people as well. So we just know that, and this is just such a rare situation that we're both have the backgrounds we do, but we're raised in the situations we are in. And me going to white school didn't help me none. It didn't help me none. I don't talk to none of them people. If anything, I unfriended all of them because when Trump became president, everybody started saying they started voting for Trump and shit. So I definitely feel like I did not want to put my kids through that. And living here, I was going to put my kids through that, whether it be because I've gone to pretty much every school there is to go to out here, or know somebody, or know people that teach, or and it's like nobody wants to deal with that. I want to be in a town where nobody knows me, and if they know me based off my craft, not based off something that somebody else said, not based off of jealousy, not based off of, oh my gosh, she has good work ethic. So I can't. And that's the kind of stuff you do. It's called crabs in a barrel. It's like super negative mindset, and I don't want my kids to deal with that. I don't want my kids to fall victim of any of the shit that I did and do. So we decided to move so that they're around black people. We wanted to make sure that they had a good quality of life. Nobody wants to live in California in the slums just to say they live in California. Like, we don't live in the slums, but like, California be for real. We also wanted our kids to be bougie. I just feel like that's not talked enough. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not one of those parents that want to get by. I'm not one of those parents that just want to, make sure my kids have just enough. A lot of this is really making sure that my kids are set. And in order for them to be set, I want to be in a place where I can plan for them to be set. And I don't want to be paying hella in interest on dumb shit like cars or apartments being overcharged. Like, I'm just going to get rich and then make sure my kids are set. So I say all that to say we decided to choose Dallas because we wanted them to be around people that look like them. I want my business to progress, and I know it will out there. I want to be around the homies that actually support me. I have settled in a lot of the friendships that I have had, and I feel like that's a mindset in and of itself. It's called comfortability. So a lot of times I feel like, what has kept me in this small town is the friendships or the family and the da-da-da. But when I take a step back and look at my life, I have had to tell myself, you could be a lot farther if you cut all these people off, and they got to come visit you in Dallas. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. It's actually giving a fuck about myself and my future so that it can progress the way I feel like it should be. I'm a perfectionist, for those of you that don't know. A lot of people don't look at their lives. They don't analyze their lives like this. I don't give a fuck, not other people. I'm me. I analyze my life every week, every month, every year to see where I can progress, do better for myself and for my kids. And so we decided to move. We originally were going to move after I was homeschooling my kid, but she asked to go to real school. Heartbreak. I was going to make a video on that, but like, she's not even finishing the year. So I'm like, I don't know if I should do a video on homeschool, but I wouldn't mind. If people ask, I'll tell them. But she asked to go to school, and what the fuck, bye. You want to go? But I'm going to make sure that the school that you go to is a good school. A lot of schools in my surrounding areas got bitches I went to school with. And like, don't nobody want to drop off their kid and see a whole bunch of haters every day. So I told myself, if I'm going to enroll her, we getting gone, okay? So that's exactly what we're doing. We were originally going to move the end of the year. It's like June, July, August. But we moving next month. Literally, I was gonna like make my, so that brings me to this next point. Let me stop and start. That brings me to this next point. I was gonna like make content, like let me get myself, you know, put stuff in boxes, let me do this, and I don't even have time to even curate, like I don't have time to even plan that content so that I can, you know what I'm saying? So I decided that I'm just gonna y'all gonna have to see the house as is, because that's in like 4 weeks. So I got like 4 weeks to balance both moving, wrapping up orders, which I had to wrap up my orders in LA because I have a manufacturer in LA, and have them ship my stuff here. That was a shit show, because when I lived in LA I could just go up the street and pick up my shit. But when I have to have them ship it here, they ship stuff, they didn't ship everything, they don't speak English, like it's a lot, but it's not anything that I feel like I don't want to deal with at all. It's just I'm learning the game. So I had to wrap that up, find new manufacturers and shit in Dallas, which that just made me, I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down, because that'll be what I do tomorrow, low-key. I gotta find, like I make different things. So I have to find manufacturers that make each of the things that I do and they need to be of good quality. So that is gonna take a little bit. But I have homies that said they have a couple referrals, and I'm gonna like build up that. So I say all that to say, I don't have time to make content and be like, oh my god, like this is me packing the room, time lapse, this is me, like it's really just like my house is fucked. I'm trying to sell what I can because we pretty much decided we don't want to drive. I feel like driving is so fucking dumb. We drove to LA, like the only drive I'll ever do, which we barely want to do again, is a road trip we took to LA together, which was so cute and scenic. It was just so scary. So we're like, we don't want to drive Texas because we know we might drive through. Also, we don't want to drive through sundown towns. If you don't know what a sundown town is, basically if you a nigga driving through this town, you could potentially die. They don't give a fuck. They're racist. And nobody wants to like deal with that. So now I gotta pay more to buy a flight. Now I'm gonna die. So we don't want to drive. We don't want to deal with the inconvenience of that. So I've been trying to sell stuff here so I could just rebuy it there. I've pretty much committed to thrifting my house. I have been looking for like 2 months, actually longer than that, of how I want to decorate my house. And I think I want to thrift. Like everyone has this like super aesthetic, like clean adult look in their house, but like I don't want my house to look like that. I want to have some character, some pizzazz. So I'm trying to like thrift stuff so that can happen. Side note, this is gonna be a pretty long video. Side note, I follow this girl named Everything Erin, shout out to her, and I go on her page to look up stuff. Like yesterday I went in her followers just to see, because I'm fucking nosy, and she followed me, but not like my account I was on, because I be having multiple accounts. If you follow me you know that, but she follows one of my other accounts and it only has like 50 followers. So I found that to be super cool. And she's also in Dallas. And I'm the type of person, like, I'm not gonna show you because someone could zoom in, but I'm the type of person that has a wish list of people that I want to work with. Like, nigga, I'm gonna be rich. Ooh, I don't know if I can say that, sorry, but I'm gonna be rich because of the amount of planning that I do. But anyway, I have this list of people I want to work with, and I deadass added her because she's literally in the same town that I'm about to be in. Bitch. That's another thing, like, that I didn't touch on. When you live in a small town, ain't no famous people out here. I already know who it is. We only have one sports team here, and it's a basketball team, Sacramento Kings. I have done so much business with, like, it's like I want a new team now, you know? I want new people to work with. I want a fresh experience, and they're constantly, don't get me wrong, that company's great. Like, they are so good to me. But it's like we only have one major sports team. So, you know, I want football players. Like, Dallas has every major sport team, you know? Like, there's so much to do and so much opportunity. And for me, someone that has multiple businesses with the streetwear brand, I constantly want to see athletes, artists, all that stuff in my shit. I don't want to be limited to this one basketball team. And that's pretty much what I'm limited to. So I definitely wanted to create more opportunity for myself. I want to create some more opportunity for myself by going to Dallas. I don't know what I was talking about prior to this, so I gotta pause this and then refigure it out. Okay, I paused it and refigured it out, and then my family came home. My fiance makes like the best top ramen. He put like shrimp and some more shit, but we're a top ramen family. We're not, well, we are bougie, but bitch, balance. So back to what I was saying. I really want to make content that kind of shows the move, but I think I'm gonna authentically move, and then when I get there, a lot of people have asked like how we've planned to move with a family, and we're just winging it. Like, I plan life. Like, we're planning, but it's like we don't know. We're trying. We're just trying options. Shit. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. It's not anything that we were, excuse me, like I just ate, so you know, it's not anything where we're like, this is what we have to do as a plan, because if that was the case, we would still be moving in August. There's so many things that have happened that have pushed the move up, and we're not like opposed to it at all. We're actually really excited. So yeah, so my point that I had to watch the video, the point I was making was that we didn't want to drive, so we're going the route of just shipping the stuff that we want to me. So getting the apartment and then like shipping the shit that we do want from Cali to ourselves out there. And then yeah, that way we don't have to pay for a moving company. We're not forced to drive, and then like anything else will go get sold, put in the trash, and we're really trying not to get a storage. So I really don't want to get a storage, so because then that leaves like a tie here, and I don't want a tie here. I like just want to like visit and stay in the square. So yeah, that is my big announcement, and like as we go I'll just show me moving certain stuff, but the house is not at all in pristine. It's not even up to my own living standard, and my living standard is high. My mom, like if you go to my mom's house, you can like lick her floors. I pretty much was raised in a household where like you couldn't even, like dust wasn't allowed to land. Like if you see dust falling, you gotta catch it with your hand type shit. So I definitely am not too jazzed about showing my house, but I wanted to be as authentic as possible and show you guys like this shit's fucked. And I have a lot of stuff to pack and like stuff to patch up, so that when we give our stuff back, we're not being charged for nothing. But yeah, it's a time. We're moving. We're all excited. It's just a fresh start for everybody in the new city. That's more up our speed. Like, this is not our speed. So we want to be somewhere that was our speed, our race. I'm tired of being a minority. Like, we're always going to be minorities, but like, it gets exhausting to be like the minority of minorities. And then like, you know? So I think it's important that we make some great moves and great strides. So yeah, we're moving to Texas. Woo, Texas. And this is the beginning of my series. I'm excited. Next, I'll probably show myself. I might show myself packing. But I think I'm gonna wait to talk about all the stuff like enrolling my kids in school and daycare, getting approved for the apartment, which apartment we chose, all that. I might talk about that next, like when I move out there, which is just in a month. So that's gonna have to wait. You guys have to basically have this video hold you over till next month. I'll be posting other stuff, but we're moving. Thanks for watching.